When we were growing up, the only reason to go to a gym or take karate or box was either to have people stop messing with you or to get somebody back.
Where them kicks at? Where them hands? Where them holes? Where them throws? You know what I'm saying?
This is why I train in martial arts.
I'm not victim shaming. You call it toxic masculinity. I'll call it survival. That was the way I grew up. That was my experience. Matter of fact, when I was growing up, you wanted to get big. Remember that? I can't wait to get big so people stop bothering me. When we were growing up, the only reason to go to a gym or take karate or box was either to have people stop messing with you or to get somebody back. That was all. You wanted people off you. Look at Muhammad Ali. You can look at any athlete. They went and got physically stronger because they were tired of being victims. And so that was a perspective I was speaking from. I'm saying to you, I would have done it. Not you. I wouldn't let somebody I paid touch me. But let alone let anybody touch me in front of my wife. Let alone somebody I was paying.
Well, while the rest of the conversation is not something that definitely, that necessarily dovetails with the theme of this channel, I like what D.L. Hughley said. Shout out to him. He's one of my favorite comedians. I like what he said, what he brought up about why a lot of people get into martial arts, because that is a lot of times why people start, especially young men. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, other than seeing Bruce Lee movies. If somebody's bothering you, people messing with you, you get tired of people messing with you, you get tired of people picking on you. And so you want to become strong enough to protect yourself and fight back and not feel like you're a weakling. Not feel like you're just being beaten all the time or humiliated all the time. You feel like you have no power and you want to get some physical power so you can nullify the power that they have over you. And there are 2 points I want to make in this video. One, that's not why I stayed, though. And that's not why I ultimately came back. I ultimately came back because I ended up using it to protect myself and some other people from someone. And not only was I able to protect myself and some other people from someone who, it turns out the guy was just mentally sick and just had an off day and got violent, I was also able to do it without harming him at all. The only thing he got was exhausted and hurt feelings. But I was able to do it without a mark on him. And then I was like, where? People were like, wow, that was cool. Where'd you learn how to do that? And I was like, yeah, where did I learn how to do that? And then I remember, and I was like, oh. I remember the thing with men. That's something I talk about periodically. And then I was like, I remember what he said. He told me to go back to class. It's like, maybe I need to go back to class. And so that's why I went back, but ultimately stayed because it's a form of exercise that I actually will do. It's also, even if I don't do those moves all the time, I will do other exercises so that I will continue to be able to do that form of exercise, if that makes any sense. Like, I'll get on the treadmill and jog. I'll do body weight exercises. I stretch so that I can still, now at this point, teach martial arts moves part-time so I can still do it. And, exercise movement is good for your health. So that's why you end up staying. But there is one thing, though. There is one myth. And that is the myth, and this is something that D.L. Hughley alluded to, that because you are big and strong, you can't be or you shouldn't be the victim of sexual harassment or abuse of power. And I'm here to tell you that the martial arts can't protect you from that. Heck, if you use Google, you'll find out that unfortunately, the martial arts is a place where a lot of that has happened. Okay, it's not all of us. It's not even most of us. It's a tiny minority. But one is too many, in my opinion. One is too much. Okay? So when you start getting into the interpersonal dynamics, and if I remember the story that Terry Crews was talking about correctly, that's a lot of that is social power, social dynamics, and racism. Because had Terry acted out like the big strong man that he is, Would he have been perceived as, hey, this big, strong man is just defending his honor? Or would he have been seen as, there's that angry Negro. We can't work with that angry Negro, that violent black beast. You know, the stereotype. He's unstable. We can't work with him anymore. And a lot of people think about stuff like that on their jobs. I know in the past and stuff I've let slide from women. That it's because I was like, you know, if I make a thing about this, they're not going to believe me because it's a man and she's a woman. They're not going to believe that. I'm glad nothing happened from a dude because I'm afraid I might have just played AT&T and reached out and touched someone and I'd be like this behind bars going, did you put some money in my account? You know, not saying that's the correct way to handle it, but especially back then, that's probably what would have happened. And I'm not ashamed. Actually, I'm ashamed to admit that, but I'm not too proud to admit it because that's probably what would have happened. So, you know, you can't high kick your way out of everything. You can't joint lock your way out of everything. If somebody has power over you, it be it social, political, economic, you know, they got you. And the only way for you to fight back is socially, politically, economically. Now, I don't know about the full details of the Terry Crews saying he's going to slap D.L. Hughley or whatever the heck, things like that. I don't want to see these guys come to blows over something like this. But I will say this, you know, I can understand why Terry Crews did what he did. I also understand why D.L. Hughley said what he said. Because D.L. Hughley doesn't have Terry Crews' muscle mass. And take it from somebody who has mass and some muscle. I got some muscle. People think that if you're big and strong, that means that your persecution should be over. And while it should be over, it's not. Because when you're an adult, you live in a world where people like to take advantage of what I call I'm not going to use the word. I'll say the no whip your butt policy. But you know I don't mean whip your butt. I mean whip something that rhymes with trash. The no whip your butt policy states that no matter what I do, you're not supposed to be able to knock me upside my head, even if I did this in any other environment outside of this formal one like the workplace or the university or, you know, or the church or something. If I did this outside this institutional setting and you took a brick to me, even law enforcement might say, hey, he deserves to take a brick to you. But because I'm in this environment where we're supposed to behave, I am going to come right to the line and even cross the line. And I know that you're not going to do anything because you want to be perceived as a civilized adult. Other instances include, no, I'm not even going to go into that. I'll just say there's another incident of this in some videos on my channel where someone was taking advantage of the no whoop your butt policy and it didn't work out well for that individual. Because I don't want to look like I endorse that type of behavior per se. But that's what happens. And so when you're in that situation, do you lash out like you know you feel like your honor demands? And the thing is, what's really irritating is when you know that there are other people who will be able to get away with knocking someone upside the head, but you can't. Because of who your, I guess I'll say who your oppressor is, who your victimizer is. You are the victim even though you are the big, strong man, especially if we're talking about a black guy. You see what I'm saying? Because everybody's culturally conditioned. Everybody's culturally conditioned to see big black guys as the enemy. Okay? No matter how we act. And now, that's 2.0 of that. The 21st century version of that is everybody's conditioned to see any masculine guy as bad, evil, or a threat. And not give them the benefit of the doubt. Click, click, I fear for my life. That don't just happen to black people. What was he doing to make her hit him? That doesn't just happen to black people. So you can slow your roll with your toxic masculinity and stuff like that. And stop thinking, man, if I had that size, nuh-uh. Unfortunately, if you had that size, if you had that strength, if you had like people that have my abilities, you might not always be able to use it. But fortunately, that's why God invented a thing called lawyers. And I hope I will never have to use one. But if I do, I hope that he or she can make me a rich man. And thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this with people who like to talk about the martial arts. Yes, I know we should practice self-control, and knocking someone upside their head is not a mutual welfare benefit. We should turn the other cheek, and a soft answer turns away wrath. But people don't always operate that way. And peace.